morning, guys. I am back in my original uniform. I've been lazy about doing laundry, so it was in my hamper for a while, but I'm so happy to be back in this cozy shirt. So if you guys have been watching this morning series in order, you know that in most videos, I'm just talking about a bunch of different random topics or things. But today I wanted to do something a little bit different and just talk about one topic. Two viewers suggested that I talk about what it's like to be a Korean American living in Korea. So that's like the overarching theme. And then within that, I want to talk about transitioning from living in New York to living in Korea, whether Brandon and I are going to live in Korea indefinitely, and my thoughts on plastic surgery in Korea. And I want to emphasize that it's my thoughts on plastic surgery on myself. And I'll give you a little backstory on things that have been said to me and this one particular experience that happened shortly after I got to Korea in 2011. So for those of you that are learning about me for the very first time, I am fully Korean. Both of my parents are Korean, and I was born in Korea, and I moved to America when I was 5 years old. And then I lived in New York for 20 years. And I moved out to Korea when I was 25, and that was in 2011. Growing up, I lived in a family of 7. Yes, there were 7 of us under one roof. And it was my parents, my brother, my sister, my grandma, so my dad's mom, and then my great-grandmother, which is my grandmother's mother. My great-grandmother lived with us until she passed away, and that was when I was 17 years old. And because of my situation, I spoke a lot of Korean at home. I would speak English at school, but I never completely lost speaking Korean because, that was the only way that I can communicate with my great-grandma. And my parents and my grandma, they're pretty good about us speaking in English or like speaking Konglish, where you just mix English and Korean together. But yeah, I just had that extra practice because of the adults living at home with us. Yeah, I was fortunate enough that when I moved out to Korea in 2011, it wasn't a brand new language. Like, I can speak and understand at a comfortable level where I can get by. I'm alive. I'm surviving. One thing that was a struggle and is still somewhat of a struggle now, not as much because I feel like there's so many foreigners in Korea now. My struggle was expectations. There's that expectation there because I look fully Korean that I should speak and understand the language. So there were definitely moments of frustration when someone was speaking to me and I wasn't fully understanding what they were saying. In the past, I've had even cab drivers tell me what's wrong with you? You're Korean, you should know how to speak Korean. And I think it's I'm not saying all Korean adults are like this, but it's this sense of pride and, respecting where you're coming from, I guess. And I think my parents and my grandmother and great-grandmother did a great job in keeping Korean alive in our household. So my communication and the way that I looked on the outside, it wasn't aligning, and I feel like some people were frustrated by that. It's not so bad anymore. I really want to emphasize that. It's really not. So that's probably my biggest struggle. And then, let's see. Living in Korea is great. I think the 3 things I really appreciate about living in Korea is cleanliness, safety, and convenience. So cleanliness, compared to New York, which is, even New York subway stations, I feel like that's the first thing that pops into my head, is it's pretty grimy, right? It's pretty gross. But the Korean subway stations, they are so pristine, you can almost just eat off the floor. Very, very big on recycling here. That's another thing that I had a hard time adjusting to, because in the States, you just kind of throw out food trash in your regular trash, and yes, you recycle glass and plastic and paper, but in Korea, the way that our trash works is in the basement of our building, there are different bins, and there's a bin for paper, there's a bin for plastic wrappers, there's a bin for plastic bottles, there's a bin for just regular plastic, and then there's a bin for styrofoam, glass, cans, and miscellaneous things like light bulbs and batteries. So everything is very, very categorized. In terms of the safety issue, I feel like as a female, as a woman, safety is a huge thing. And in Korea, I just feel safer because there isn't as much crime here. Is that the right way to put it? And there's also CCTV everywhere. So there are cameras everywhere, like on the streets and dark alleyways. Like, I think there's a statistic there. I remember Brandon shared it with me, but the average person gets caught on CCTV like a few hundred times a day. I just don't feel as scared walking alone at night, and that doesn't happen very often. We live in a nice neighborhood. We have a few security guards at our building, and yeah, just things are open very late at night, so I don't find that I'm ever completely alone. Guns aren't a thing in Korea. Like, you're not allowed to have guns. So in terms of convenience, my favorite example to go to is being able to order groceries online and then having them delivered to our door for free. Well, it's free if you order a minimum of $30 worth of groceries, or like 30,000 won. And it's easy to do that if I'm shopping for a week's worth of groceries. And I personally haven't done this myself, but I've seen it. And if you go to certain subway stations, they have this huge like lit advertisement, and it kind of looks like the aisle of a grocery store. And under each product, the picture of a product, there are different like barcodes, and you can scan it with your phone and basically order groceries that way while waiting for the subway, which I think is pretty insane, right? It's so high tech. You're always going to find little convenience marts that are open 24 hours on almost every block in Korea. So if you need something in the middle of the night or early in the morning, like, you always have that. In the subcategory of transitioning to Korea, I want to tell you guys about my first weekend in Korea. The first weekend when I moved here. My brother was actually living in Korea the first year that I was here because he was in the army and he was stationed here. And that weekend, my brother and I went to have dinner with some distant relatives that we hadn't seen in years. And I want to emphasize that because I haven't spent a lot of time with these relatives. And so basically they were kind of strangers to me. And my uncle was just asking me what I was doing in Korea, and I told him I came out here for a year to teach English, and yeah, I wanted to experience Korea, not just to play, but I wanted to earn some money while I was here. And I remember him saying like, "Oh, you're just gonna be here for a year then? Well, you're not young anymore, so enjoy your year, but then you need to go back to America because you got to get married." And then he said that I would have to go back to America because I would never find a husband in Korea because a Korean guy would never like me. And I can only assume he was basing this off my looks alone because he just didn't know me at all. And I remember him saying that my look, could probably fly well in America, but Korean guys would just never like this face. And I know that sounds really mean, and I don't want you guys to leave any mean comments for the uncle here, but let me qualify this. I feel like I'm making him like a really bad villain here, but okay, so in Korea's standard of beauty, it's most people are into the big double eyelids, the small, cute, almost like pointy nose, a very like chiseled jawline, and almost this doll-like look. And I don't have those features. Based on these very general Korean standards of beauty, my face or my features don't fall under the ideals. And so of course I was offended, and my skin definitely wasn't thick enough then. Like, to be frank, I was pretty pissed. But I'm also really thankful for that experience too. And I'm only realizing that now as I'm talking about it, because since then, that was 4 years ago, I have not once wanted to get plastic surgery. I've come to really embrace my features. I hope I don't come off offensive, but just walking around in Korea, being on the bus or being on the streets or whatever, so many people have the same kind of features. Like, so many people have the big eyes and the double eyelids and the cute little nose and, the really chiseled jawline. And it's in those moments where I really appreciated looking different. Plastic surgery is everyone's own personal choice, right? And I'm not here to place judgment saying like, oh, I'm better because I don't have plastic surgery. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm just happy that I didn't crumble under the pressure, the societal pressure to look a certain way, where I feel like I had to change certain things about who I am to fit into that mold or to feel more accepted or to feel more beautiful. And I'm saying this now, but I don't know, who knows? Who knows if in like 20 years I'll want Botox. Like, actually the other day I was telling Brandon that, you know, when I laugh and when I smile, I have very, very prominent laugh lines here. And I told him, I was like, hey, do you think I need Botox? Do you think I need to, you know, just shoot these guys up over here? Because this is where my makeup always like settles. And he's like, yeah, babe, I think you are too happy. You smile too much. So yeah, you need Botox. And he just like kind of rolled his eyes because he just thought it was ridiculous. All I'm saying is, at this point in my life right now, I'm very content with what I've been given. And I feel like, you know, even this, my mom and my dad, they always give me heat about this. And they're like, Jennifer, you're gonna look like you are so much older than you are, because when I talk and I get excited, you know, my brows just do this. And they were telling me that I need to start sleeping with like a little peel off mask here, just so that I don't, you know, give myself wrinkles. But I feel like this adds to me being expressive, you know, like when I get really into a story. So I feel like this is part of who I am. These laugh lines are part of who I am. Even these stupid hyperpigmentation marks are a part of who I am, right? And this helps me relate to you guys that might be going through the same thing. I want to hold on to that. And if I end up like sucking fat out of my under eyes like 20 years from now, that's a bridge that we can cross when we get there, if we get there. And I have to throw this part in. This is just kind of like the icing on my own cake, you know, from what my uncle said to me. I've always known for myself too that I would most likely not end up with a fully native Korean guy because of the cultural differences and expectations. And I just don't think that I would click as well with someone that doesn't come from the same kind of background as me. And the first year I was in Korea, I wasn't looking for a husband. Like, I wasn't even looking for someone to date, to be very honest. And in this crowded population in Seoul, I feel like I found the needle in the haystack when I met Brandon. And I really believe that in so many ways I struck gold meeting Brandon. I did kind of rub it in my uncle's face after we got married. It's like, hey, remember when you told me that, oh, no one would ever like me in Korea? Well, bam, look at this guy. That's pretty damn cool. I hope you guys found that entertaining and or informational. And I know I kind of spoke about very specific instances, but seriously, if there's anything specific that you want to know, please leave them in a comment. And if I don't address you back in the comments, I'll talk about it in a future video. Thanks for letting me share my story. I don't think I've ever shared that with people that I wasn't interacting with like in person. Definitely help you guys get to know me a little better. Look. There's like barely anything done on my face. Today is day 4 of yoga. I think Brandon's been quite proud of me because, you know, the fact that I had to share it on my channel here, it's making me way more accountable. He walked in on day 1 of me doing the yoga because I was doing it at night, and he just got home from work, and as soon as he said hi to me, like, I saw him running over to grab my camera, and he recorded some footage that I'll share with you guys right now.
Why, oh my dear God.
We'll take 3 more breaths here, so notice if you're just kind of holding, waiting, like, on to the next thing.
Look at Jen.
Dude, can you not film my underwear behind me though?
Stretch it out.
First day of her public commitment.
You shouldn't say try to enjoy your practice. How about
It's only like
enjoy.
8 p.m. and she's getting around
We're
to
going to
it.
go for a slow walk up towards the front edge. Take your time. Again, resist the urge to just kind of taskmaster here.
Like an old lady.
Slowly walk up towards the front. And together we'll meet at
what do you mean, old lady?
head of the mat in a nice forward fold.
Back in my
Anyway, good job, baby. I'm proud of you. I'm gonna
Shake the head, yes.
drink some wine and watch you as you loosen up those stiff old lady joints.
So thank you guys for being a part of my fitness journey and encouraging me in more ways than, you know, I'm voicing right now. Oh, and I used some hemp seed oil on a cotton pad on my lashes, and that worked perfectly. I don't know why I didn't think to do that earlier. I am back on the using hemp seed oil as an all-in-one makeup remover, and I don't have to get something separately for my eyes. Okay, my friends, I'm gonna end the video here, and I hope you guys are enjoying this holiday season with your family and friends, and that you're not working on Christmas Day. I hope you guys are not working on Christmas Day. I don't know why I feel this need to just come closer to you as I am ending the video. Have a great day, and I will see you again here tomorrow. Bye.